Ugh, it looked like it rained outside. Guess I'm not hanging out there today. So I guess today is probably a pretty good day to talk about the different things that you can do inside in the greater Cleveland area when you are having a rainy day and you can't go outside and enjoy the different outdoor activities, because honestly, on this channel, a lot of what I talk about are those outdoor activities that you can do here. And this video should serve pretty well to keep you busy during those days when you do have them. Now, Cleveland is one of those really cool cities that get all 4 seasons throughout the year, and we're currently finishing up spring. We're going into early June, and we've been pretty lucky with the weather we've been getting this May. I feel like last year it was really cold all throughout the whole duration of May, but knock on wood, this actually has been a really solid year. So we've been getting some pretty sunny weather. Everything's been above 70 degrees, it feels like. It's just been the ideal spring. So I'm gonna jump directly into option number 1 for when you are stuck inside in the greater Cleveland area on a rainy day, and that is going to be working out. I think it's something that's incredibly important to do because a lot of the time when you're stuck inside, you're not going to be super active. So getting that body moving is just going to help with your overall energy levels and your overall health in general. The more active you are, the longer you're gonna live, and I'm not gonna get into all that fitness influencer crap, but we should do everything we can to increase our longevity and just keep consistently getting better. So I'm gonna start heading off to the gym now before it gets a little bit too late. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people who like to be at the gym when it's not incredibly busy, and I'm a sauna user after I finish up with all of my workouts for the day. And I hate walking in there during peak hour and just having 10 people sitting in there already and just awkwardly sitting in silence with so many people. It's just not a great time. So I'm gonna start working my way over that way. Well, so much for a rainy day. I was expecting it to be pretty bad outside, and the sun actually is making an appearance and we have a pretty bright sky. So I guess so much for that, but at least the video can still go on. Unlike the last video where I was trying to film what it was like hiking outdoor during the springtime, we ran into a lot of rain and it was honestly a miserable failure, and I still have to remake that video. But luckily this show can go on today. So me personally, I work out at the Esporta in Crocker Park, and that place is actually a pretty solid setup just because it's got a 3-level design, where on the first floor is the lobby with a little bar where you can get smoothies and food, I think. I've never used it, so I can't really talk about it. But also on the first floor is going to be the pool, the sauna, and then also the locker rooms. The second floor is going to be where you're going to do all of your lifting. And on the third floor, there is a track with a bunch of exercise machines that are for cardio. So I'm gonna get that workout in really quick, and then I will catch up with you afterwards. All right, we just finished up the quick gym session. Did a quick chest and tries, and I ended up going in the sauna and there weren't too many people, so that was a win. Now, what I did notice while I was in there was that I felt pretty rough. Felt good, but I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks and I've been kind of a lazy bum, and that just showed me how much work I need to do to get back into the regular fitness routine that I'm normally in. Now, realistically, you don't have to go to the gym to be active on a rainy day. You could do an at-home workout if you don't have a gym membership. We have a ton of different types of workout classes around the Cleveland area. You can get into a Pilates class, you could get into a cycling class, Zumba. I'm not even sure if that's still a thing, but I'm sure you could find one around here. You can go to a rec center. Pretty much every city has them, and some of them have more than just a gym and a basketball court. Most of them are gonna have a pool. North Olmsted has a full turf field, so you can play football, soccer, volleyball, whatever you want there. They also have a indoor ice rink, so there's really no excuse to not be active. Another thing that I've also seen in some of these rec centers is a climbing gym for rock climbing, which I never thought I'd see, but lo and behold, I found one. So that's going to transition me into my second option for things to do, and this is still on the more active side. You can actually go to rock climbing gyms in this area, and rock climbing is actually pretty prevalent in the Cleveland area. We have a ton of different gyms to choose from. I'm not personally a rock climber. I was just turned on to this pretty recently. A lot of my friends have been rock climbing, and it's a really good way to burn 1 to 5 hours. You could spend the whole day there if you wanted to. The different options that you can choose from as far as rock climbing goes in the Cleveland area are going to include everything from Cleveland Cliffs to Cleveland Rocks, Shaker Rocks, Climb Cleveland, Kendall Cliffs, and there's even more on top of that. Those are just the ones that my friends commonly go to. So if you're a climber in the area, help some of these other people out and let us know where your favorite place to climb at is down in the comments, just so that we have somewhere to go check out in case we are looking for a true recommendation, because like I said, I've only gone one time. I'm hoping this rain holds off just because we are going to a Noah Khan concert tonight at Blossom Music Center. And fun fact, that is not an indoor activity in the Cleveland area, but it is an absolute blast if you have the ability to go to just view a concert or whatever is going on there. It's a big outdoor sitting area. It's got a covered pavilion if you want to pay a little extra money. But yeah, we're going there tonight, and we are sitting in the lawn. So we are not going to have any sort of protection at all. We are going to have ponchos just in case, but that's about the extent of it. Now, I love video games just as much as the next person, but honestly, like, if I were to offer up the lame ideas for what to do on a rainy day, like doing your chores or watching movies all day, it just wouldn't make for a great video, and that's not what we're here to do. So we are going to focus on what it's actually like living in Cleveland, because that's what this channel is all about. So that is what's going to move me into my next option, and that is going to be the restaurants in the area, just because you're probably going to want to get a little bit of food after you finish off doing a physical activity. Just get that energy level back up. And Jeff's here, so I got to give her a little bit of attention. But option number 3 is going to be trying some of the restaurants in the greater Cleveland area, and we have some great options that are here. You really can't go wrong with most of what you choose. Now, if you've watched the YouTube channel for any sort of time, you'll know that Barrio is my absolute favorite. There you're gonna get some build your own tacos, and they've even got some pre-made ones that you can choose from. However, I've got a new fascination with a new favorite type of food, and that is going to be Mediterranean. And there are a lot more options than I've really ever realized in the greater Cleveland area. And I like Taki's Greek Kitchen over in Avon Lake, but if that's too far of a drive for you, you just type in Mediterranean food in the Cleveland area, and you're going to have a ton of different options to choose from. If Mexican or Mediterranean are not tickling your fancy, we've got some amazing breweries, we've got some good fine dining, and there's more than enough locations that are just grab and go if you're looking for something quick. So if you're out and about in the Cleveland area, you'll probably notice that all of these restaurants are probably going to be in some sort of shopping plaza or surrounded by other retail and grocery stores. And that is the other point that is going to be a part of this one. I'm going to kind of intertwine them together. Restaurants and shopping for point number 3. The shopping in Cleveland is fantastic. There are a lot of outdoor malls that you have the ability to go to that you're probably not going to want to visit on a rainy day, but you still have the option to, I guess, if you want. And those outdoor shopping malls are going to be places like Crocker Park, Legacy Village, Pinecrest. But if you do want to have that indoor shopping mall experience where you have all the retail in one indoor location, you can go to South Park Mall over in Strongsville, and there you're gonna have a ton of different things to choose from. I grew up pretty close to that area, so I spent a lot of time at that mall growing up. And the other big mall that's in the area is going to be Beechwood Mall, and there is a bunch of different stores as well. Some of those stores that are in that mall are a little bit more higher end, so you are gonna have some different options than South Park Mall. Another place that you can go, which is downtown, is the Arcade. And it's not actually an arcade. It is another indoor shopping center, similar to a mall, but it is just this really, really old building. And it's got this beautiful architecture in it. It's something that's worth going to see, even if you're not planning on doing any shopping while you're there. But there are a couple restaurants and coffee shops in it that you can go sit down at and just enjoy what's around you. If you're looking for a more touristy option for visiting Cleveland on a rainy day, you have the opportunity to go over to the casino if you're into gambling. If that's not really your speed, we have a ton of different attractions that bring people here from all over the world. You can go look at the Museum of Art, you can check out the Natural History Museum, the Science Center, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the History Center, the Nature Center, and we even have an aquarium here that is pretty cool to go view. Now on that list, my favorite is going to be the Cleveland Art Museum, just because it is free to go view. Me and my wife went there pretty recently for a date night, and the only thing that you really have to pay for is the main exhibit if you want to go check that out, and then also maybe parking. We got away with some free parking on the night that we went, but the spaces are not always open, so if you get lucky, you might get away with not having to pay for it, but it's not a huge chunk of change if you do end up having to use one of their parking lots. Now, most people go to the art museum to see the main exhibit just because it is usually pretty short lasting. However, if you just explore around the rest of the museum, there is still enough there that is probably going to take you hours to view. And the best part about this experience is that the building itself is almost like an art piece as well. No matter where you look, you're going to be seeing some really pretty sights. So even if you're in between exhibits, you still have a lot to look at, which I thought was pretty impressive, because even though I've grown up here, I've actually never been to it before we did our date night there. Moving into our final topic for indoor activities that you can do on a rainy day in Cleveland, Ohio, this is going to be point number 5, we have the option to go view some different sports or events that are happening downtown. Now, as far as sports go, for the time of filming this video, in the winter time, you are going to be able to go check out the Cavs and also the Monsters for hockey. And those are relatively cheap to go watch. But as of right now, we have some different rumors that are going around for some stadiums that are going to get built. And one of them is going to be a dome for the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is probably pretty far out as far as years go, but who knows, maybe by the time you're watching this video, the stadium will already be built, and this will be one of those options for you to go see on a rainy day. The other stadium that's going to be built is a professional soccer stadium. Now, me personally, I'm a big soccer player, so I love watching the sport in person. And around here, at least right now, the only thing that we have is professional indoor soccer, and that doesn't really draw a huge crowd. There might be a few hundred people there, but it's not thousands like a sports arena would have. At the time of filming, I currently have to drive down to Columbus to go watch the Columbus Crew play, or fly out of Cleveland into a different state to go watch a game if I want to do so. Like last year, I went to Miami to watch Messi play right when he got transferred to Inter Miami. And he ended up being hurt that game, but I mean, a flight from Cleveland to Florida is only $50, so it was totally worth it as far as what we spent, because we went to see a cup game. It was the US Open Cup, and it was Miami versus Houston, which was a super fun time. And I got to make a 3-day trip out of it as well. But back to what I was talking about, because I somehow got sidetracked as I normally do. We're actually in the process of building our MLS team. We're supposed to have a stadium here by 2025. Which is pretty impressive because that is a pretty quick timeline for what they have released as far as the renderings go. It looks like they're going to have an overhang over people's heads, so that way the elements don't really hit them as much as they would if it were just an open stadium, which is pretty cool in my opinion, because a lot of these other MLS stadiums that are going up are taking this kind of more modern approach, it looks like. So at least in the up and coming years, we have something to look forward to as far as sports go, but for now there's plenty to suffice for that time. Now, the other thing that you have the opportunity to view downtown as far as events go, you can go to Hilarities, which is a great comedy club. That's another spot that me and my wife have turned into a date night. It's just fun to go see the different comedy acts that travel through here. Apparently, it's a little underrated as far as the different places throughout the country that comedians can perform.
At Hilarities in Cleveland.
Fucking great club. Great club.
Love that club. I ended up playing.
Nick is the fucking best.
The coolest
That is one
guy.
of the greatest clubs in all of this country.
But upstairs at this building, you also have the opportunity to eat at a really good restaurant. Last time I was there, I had a steak sandwich, which I was just expecting to be kind of like thin strips of steak, but they actually put a whole steak on a sandwich. And my next thought was that it was gonna be really hard to bite through, but it just like melted away in my mouth. And I was pleasantly surprised with it because I'm not normally one to enjoy a steak out. I'm one of those people who like to just cook it myself. So that one caught me off guard, and I would recommend it to anyone. Now, as far as theater goes in Cleveland, we have a pretty good scene for it, at least from what I can tell. I don't really frequent it, but we have Playhouse Square downtown, and there they put on a ton of different events every year where you can just go spend an evening all dressed up nice and fancy, seeing whatever act is in town. And there are a few different theaters that surround it downtown that are a little bit smaller. So I think that leaves a lot of opportunity for you to branch out and see maybe some smaller shows, or if you want to see whatever's big in town, you have the opportunity to do that as well. So no matter whether it is a rainy or sunny day, there is an absolute ton to do in the greater Cleveland area. And that is one of the reasons why I love it here so much. So if you're starting to think about moving over this way, feel free to reach out to me. I'm a realtor here, and I help a ton of people move to this area every single year. So if that is on your mind, all of my contact information is down in the description, but I'm gonna leave the video there. So thanks for watching.